Hi, my name is Anna and welcome back to my channel. Since the last time you saw me, I have had a baby. Our toddler is sleeping right now and our daughter is with my husband in the other room. So hopefully I can get through this video. My camera is also on the verge of dying and I think my other backup battery is low. So let's see if we can get through this. For this video, I wanted to talk about my 2026 reading goals and I'm really excited. I have 10 goals. I am trying not to lean too heavily in like one area of my life or another because I have some personal goals as well that I am wanting to work toward this year. So these goals are pretty simple, but I think that they will really help my reading year and just help me to accomplish some things that I want to accomplish. If I'm looking down, it's because I have my notes here. We'll just go ahead and get started. For my first goal, this is like my Goodreads reading goal for the year. I think for 2025, I had done a goal of 20 books and I actually surpassed that. I ended up reading 29 books in 2025. I had mentioned in one of my previous videos or a couple of my previous videos that I expected to be reading more toward the end of the year because I am up nursing during the night. And so I am reading as well. I have like my Kindle set up and that's kind of how I stay awake during those nursing sessions. So that is exactly what happened. I ended up reading a lot more the last couple months than I normally would. And so for 2026, I think I could probably surpass this as well, but I am going to stick to kind of a number that is closer to what I have accomplished in the past, just to keep it reasonable and to not feel like I am having to push myself too hard and then not end up really enjoying it. So for 2026, I want to read 24 books. I had set this number before really thinking about what books I'm trying to read, but once I had kind of gone through some of my other goals, it kind of actually ended up adding up to 24 books. So we'll get into the breakdown of that as we go through some of these other ones. So kind of branching off of that, my second goal is to read at least half of my physical TBR. So when I am referring to my physical TBR, I am referring to this top shelf up here of my book cart. So this shelf is just fiction, non-rereads, just books that I have acquired that I want to read. So that's what these are. This shelf is just rereads, and then this bottom shelf is like nonfiction. So I want to read half of these fictional books that I have on this top shelf, and I have, I think 25 is what I counted. So I'm going to say 12. I want to read 12 of these. Kind of going with that, this is not a goal that I set for myself. It was just kind of something in my head that I wanted to do, is that of these rereads, I had started rereading this series of unfortunate events this year, or this past year. And I have gotten through, I think, book 8. And so there's 5 books left. And so I wanted to just finish this series. So that's another 5 toward that 24 book goal. So that's 17 books. However, I am also currently rereading the Inheritance Cycle. So I finished Aragon this year and I'm currently reading Eldest. So that I will end up finishing that. And that will be kind of part of the books that I read this year. So really it's probably going to end up being 6, but 5 was kind of the plan that I had in my head because I wanted to finish this series specifically. And then I also have the Chronicles of Narnia over here, which I have not actually finished that series ever, but I want to. I'm going to go back and read the ones that I've already read and complete the other books. And that's kind of the same thing with the inheritance cycle as well. I read the first two and then like half of the third one and never finished it. So I'm going back, rereading the first two and half of the third book, and then finishing the entire rest of the series, which I have 4 of them, and I think there's 5 now. But yes, I'm still sticking to just at the very least, just finishing this series. My third goal that also kind of goes with this is to read and review 5 arcs. So in 2025, I had finally set up like my NetGalley account and started requesting some books. I read and reviewed 3 books in 2025. And so in 2026, my goal is to read and review 5. I have already requested, I think yesterday, I requested 2 books that I wanted to read. So we'll see if those go through. And I think I'll talk more about those in one of my other videos. Whether or not I get approved or declined for those, I'll talk more about those later, but if I get approved for those will be my first 2. And then my 4th goal is that I want to read 2 nonfiction. For my nonfiction, I for sure want to start with these. So my husband had actually got these for us for, I want to say it was like Valentine's Day, maybe last year. And this one's for the wife and this one's for the husband. And this was something that we wanted to read together, and we haven't done it yet. And so we had talked about that being something that we wanted to do this year. And so this is going to be one of my nonfiction books for the year. There's another one on marriage that I wanted to read. I believe it's called The Meaning of Marriage by Timothy Keller. And originally that was my thought, that I wanted to read those two. Those 2 would be my nonfiction for the year. However, I also got two more nonfiction by C.S. Lewis for Christmas. So it's The Weight of Glory and The Four Loves. I'm filming this in my front room, and a car just pulled up in front of the house. So this is really awkward, and she's getting out. Okay. Yeah, if anybody walks by, they can totally see me just sitting here filming, so that's weird. Anyways, so yes, originally 2 books. 2 books is still my goal, 2 nonfiction, but I have a feeling these 2 by C.S. Lewis are going to make their way into my reading this year, because I've really been looking forward to these, and I was really excited that I got these for Christmas. Between the 12 here, the 5 here, the 2 here, whatever 2 that ends up being, and the 5 arcs that ended up adding up to 24 books. And I just thought that was so funny, because I had chosen the 24 books as my goal for the year before actually making any of these other goals. It just kind of worked out that way. So that's where those are coming from. And I'm sure I will probably reach for some other ones as well, but that is my immediate plan. My 5th goal for the year is to review every book that I read. And I was kind of trying to do this this past year. I did not do this completely, but I did really start reviewing a lot of books that I was reading, and I've really enjoyed it. And so this seems totally reasonable to me to review everything that I read this year, because it's something that I do actually like to do. However, one of the things that I was not doing this past year really was reviewing like nonfiction or memoirs or things like that. And I also was not reviewing rereads. So this year, I don't know if I'm going to review nonfiction or my rereads. I want to say maybe I'm going to try and see if I enjoy reviewing those. And if not, then I'm just not going to do that. But I want to, at the very least, review every like fiction book that I read that is not a reread. That is the plan for now. We'll see how it goes. If I can review every single book, that would actually be really great. My 6th goal of the year is to only purchase books that I expect will be a 4 or 5 star. This was also something that I kind of started doing maybe like the second half of 2025. That's something that I really want to push for this year, because I don't end up keeping the books that I rate lower. I end up giving them away anyway, so it just kind of seems like a waste if I'm not expecting it to be a really highly rated book. But I do like to own the books that I rate really highly because I like to be able to like give recommendations to people and lend out books to people. I had actually just lent out like an entire series to my mom, and she's already read like all of them, and I love doing that. And so I want to do more of that, just like lending out books and recommending books to people that I know in person. But I don't want to be buying a bunch of books that I'm just going to end up giving away later. If I make book purchases this year, which I'm going to try to limit a little bit, the books that I purchase are going to be books that I'm expecting are going to be really highly rated. And kind of going off of this is my 7th goal, which is to buy another bookshelf. The bookshelf that I have in our room right now, it's been in all of my past videos, it's full. So I'm actually starting to stack books behind other books because I'm running out of space. And then I'm starting to actually stack books on top of other books because I have no space for them. So I do need another bookshelf. Need is probably a strong word. I don't need another bookshelf, but it would be nice to have. I'm thinking that I might actually do like maybe floating shelves here in our living room or something. It doesn't necessarily have to be like an actual bookshelf, just somewhere that I can display books so that if people want to borrow some, there they are. We can see them. We do have a cabinet out here in our entryway that has like all of our Christian nonfiction or Christian living books, and that shelf is pretty much full as well inside of that little cabinet. Between that and my actual bookshelf and my book cart, which is also pretty full, we just need a little bit more space. So that would be great if we could get another bookshelf this year. And actually, we do have a space, this wall back here. I don't know if you can see it, but there is like a blank wall back here. I'm going to put up some like photos and stuff. But other than that, we have a good amount of space right there that we can add some books if we wanted to have like a bookshelf or something. So I believe I'm on goal number 8. So my 8th goal is to research book content before adding books to my TBR. Again, I kind of started doing this past year, but not really exclusively. I have been pretty picky about the content in the books that I'm reading, and there's just certain things that I'm sensitive to, things that I don't enjoy reading. There's just so many good books out there and so many books that I could be reading. It just doesn't really make sense for me to go into a book that I am probably not going to like, or that I'm probably going to DNF because of what's in it. And so if I can just research what is in that book, if there's anything that maybe I won't like, I can just skip it and move on to something else. So it just makes more sense for me to look into the content of a book before actually adding it to my TBR. And so I want to do more of that this year. And I think that that will also help increase like my overall ratings and will hopefully help me to find books that I rate even higher than I have been. And that would be really cool. Okay, so my last 2 goals are content related goals. My 9th goal for the year is to post at least 2 videos a month. I mean, I would love to post like a video a week, but right now it's just not very realistic. I was already really having to kind of like arrange my schedule in order to film a video when I just had my toddler, and now that I have a toddler and a newborn, I don't know. I might have to do like weekends or something when my husband is home. The reason that I'm even able to do this right now is because my toddler is sleeping and my husband is with our baby in the other room. So we'll see. But 2 videos seems totally realistic. I think I can do that. A video a week seems like it might be a lot, but eventually maybe I can get there. Because I do like making these videos. I do like making book content, and I think it would be a lot of fun to do more of this. But as of right now, 2 videos a month, that is my goal. And my 10th goal, I don't even know if I should have this goal at all, especially because I'm only planning on posting twice a month at the moment, but I think it's fun to have one big goal a year. And so this is my big bookish goal, is to have my channel monetized. And I think the reason that I kind of would like to aim for that is because, one, it would be motivating to get more videos out if my channel is monetized, but also it would be just all of the work that goes into creating these, planning and filming and editing and posting. It's a whole thing for just one video. And as much as I love doing it just for fun, it would be kind of nice to be able to get a little bit of something back from all that effort. So if we get there, great. If not, that's okay. But by next December, who knows? Maybe. But again, if I'm only posting 2 videos a month, I don't know how realistic that is, but we'll see. And just another little bonus goal that I have for myself, sort of bookish related, is I would like to read and study 4 books of the Bible this year. So this past year, I did a few Bible studies that weren't necessarily specific to certain books of the Bible, but I did do a couple. So this year, I would like to dive in and just do some in-depth studies on specific books. And so I'm saying 4 because I'd like to do 1 a quarter, if that's possible. I do typically end up doing the women's Bible studies at my church, which usually does focus on a specific book. And I believe they do 2 a year. And so I can at least do 2 there and then do 2 on my own. So that's just kind of like more of a personal goal that I have, sort of bookish related. And I just wanted to add that in. Those are my reading goals for this year. And I am super excited. I think goals should be motivating and inspiring. And that's how I feel about these reading goals. I'll continue updating throughout the year just to see how I am moving toward these goals and if I'm on track to accomplish any of these things. At the moment, I have 2 other videos that I am planning for January, so I may already surpass one of those goals of posting 2 videos a month. I might actually post 3 in January. That would be cool. So in the meantime, let me know if you have any similar goals or what your reading goals are. I would love to hear what your plans are for your reading year. I love watching book goal videos. I think those are so fun. So if you would like to share, I'd love to hear it. And until my next video, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very soon. Bye.